Greetings, family. So this evening, I have a statement I want to share with you, and then you can kind of ponder this and let me know what you think about it. Distrust is stronger than trust. Envy is stronger than adulation, respect, or admiration. Distrust is stronger than trust, and envy is stronger than adulation, admiration, or respect. Now, adulation means like giving someone praise or flattery, right? And that statement is part of what came from those letters. I'm not going to say the name because he is not worthy of mention. See, I think that when people are known for something historical and it's something horrible, I don't think they should go down in the history books. So I'm going to do my best not to say this individual's name. It is not worthy of mention outside of the fact that we are still affected by what was put in place. Okay. So I took notes because, I like to have my little notes, make sure I don't miss things. So part of this piece, if you think about distrust is stronger than trust, this is something that we exercise amongst each other. We don't trust each other, right? And some folks make it hard for you to trust them. Don't get me wrong, but we have managed to treat the majority of the people we deal with like that, and as a result, we are not able to move collectively because there's too much distrust, right? Envy is stronger than flattery, praise, respect, or admiration. So if I envy you, can I respect you? If I envy you, can I admire you? If I envy you, am I able to give you praise? Women, this is something like I think we really need to check ourselves with, because women are so catty and insecure in themselves that their first thought is somebody wants what they have. And usually what they have ain't really what somebody want, or that thing is just for them, right? Like whatever thing that brought you and your partner together, or you and your job together, that was meant to be, right? All in divine order. And I guess there are insecure people that try to step into the middle of situations like that, but you cannot intervene in what is divinely ordered. If things are meant to be together, whether it be mates or partnerships or homes or businesses, they are going to flourish despite other people's negative efforts to intervene in that process, right? The other piece of that is like, I remember particularly thinking about certain situations and be like, don't flatter yourself. Maybe nobody wants what you have. What you have, what you all have heard me say before, may be enough for you, but it may not be enough for the next person. Right? It's that simple. We all are willing to deal with certain things. We all are willing to tolerate certain things that other people will not tolerate or don't want to be bothered with, or they just ain't built that way. And that's fine, right? But more importantly is the message of how we treat each other. I have very few female friends that I interact with, and that number has grown smaller and continues to grow smaller as people show their insecurities, right? Because when you have friends, sisters, you are supposed to be able to have certain conversations with them. And if you can't have those conversations, then maybe your relationship is not what you thought it was, right? Also, sometimes when you move it in a spiritual direction, People are not following you in that direction because they're not feeling what you're doing. It's not for them. They're not there yet. And respect to that, right? Everybody needs to go their own way and walk their own path. My mindset is try to share the message before you completely just cut people off. You know you have to do your own thing, but that doesn't mean you forget about the people who may be open to the message, because they may not need it in that moment, but they may need it later on, right? So with this whole distrust and trust thing and envy and adulation, we move on to what this plan was really about, right? This plan was to pit. This plan was to pit the old against the young against the old, dark against light, right? And female against male. The more that goes through my mind, I keep thinking, isn't that what's happening now? I remember looking at something on the internet, and it was like, something that came up about this young boy in Philly, and he was antagonizing an elder. Like, he was literally standing toe to toe fighting with this elder. And you could tell the elder he wasn't backing down, but he was too old to be boxing this teenager. And this young man was really disrespectful, and all of his friends are gathered around, and they're antagonizing the situation. And he hits the older man, and the older man's trying to defend himself. But there's a brother that comes out of nowhere. He got to be like in his 20s or so. And he sees this young boy, what he's doing to this old man, and he doesn't say a word. He walks up, and when I tell you he knocks this boy out, he knocks him on his behind, flat out, and kept walking. Nobody even saw the man, who he was, nothing. All you know is that situation was a wrap, right? Somebody has to step in and intervene when things get carried away, because the people involved sometimes are so lost in what's happening, they're not realizing that there's a bigger picture, that there's a bigger issue, that something else is at play. So that situation came to mind. The other part of that plan was that all of the servants and the overseers distrust all blacks, but it's necessary that your slaves trust and depend on us. So we know slaves as stolen Africans. I hate the word slaves, but I'm quoting this document, right? So it is necessary that your stolen Africans trust and depend on us. And isn't that the way it is now? Africans on a continent still trust and depend on colonizers, right? And many of us here in the US and in the UK, like, we still trust and depend on colonizers. And we don't like to hear that, but it's true. Think about all the things you do, the way you operate, and how you still are dependent upon a system, down to keeping your lights on. That's them controlling that, not you, right? So the thing about this plan is that what he stated was that it was guaranteed, right? He's giving them a guarantee. You hire me and you follow this plan, right? And you follow it to the letter. You only got to do it one time. And this plan will last you in perpetuity. If you don't know what perpetuity is, that is forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, ever, if that makes any sense. That's the best way I could put it. You may have heard it used in like land contracts, where they talk about the ownership rights of the land in perpetuity to the inheritance or the lessor or lease owner of the property, right? You hear it more in like property stuff where they talk about in perpetuity, that it would be in perpetuity to the nursing home. This gift, right, would always be theirs. No one could step in and interfere. Ownership rights would be to that individual. So what he's saying is, you keep this notion of distrust going amongst these people, this notion of envy going amongst these people, and pit the old against the young and the light against the dark and the woman against the man to the letter. You keep that consistent, do it one time, and you can take your hands off. And you know why he stepped in? He stepped in because he came from another place, right? Came to the KKKs and told these people, y'all killing people, hanging them from trees, you wasting money. What you need to do is implement my plan to save money. So what he was talking about was psychological warfare. And that psychological warfare is in perpetuity to this day, right? Many of us still move like this. We still exercise hate against each other. We still don't trust each other. We still have issues with our complexion. I've seen sisters verbally attack other sisters that they don't even know because of the color of their skin. Now, if you're attacking somebody because they're darker than you or because they're lighter than you, is the issue with those people or is it with you? You know what they say, right? You point your finger at people where the other finger's pointing to. But people don't see that. You know, they think they're doing something. They think they're making a statement. You know, it's like a mean girl episode, right? When I see women behave like that, I'm just like, wow, really? Like, see, I have to care enough to behave like that. And I don't give irrelevant people that much room. I just don't. I don't have the time for it. I don't have the energy for it. Now, if I have to deal with you otherwise, then I will deal with you otherwise. But I don't spend my time worrying about irrelevant people. So when I see people behaving like that, the first thing I'm thinking is like, okay, this is somebody irrelevant trying to be relevant. When I see women being catty and spiteful and saying little slick side remarks, I'm like, this is somebody irrelevant trying to be relevant. Like, that's literally what goes through my mind. You are no more important than your irrelevancy. And it doesn't matter how you behave. When you go after another sister because of your insecurities, you need to check yourself. Period. There are more important things to focus on. The energy that you spend being hateful, that's a lot of energy. And don't get me wrong, I'm talking about the sisters because that's what I know. But we know there's brothers like that too, right? You know, where I come from, we call it bitch mode, right? When dudes act like that, come on now. I know dudes that stalk females after relationships are over. I know dudes that gossip more than a bunch of women. I can't really deal with men like that, right? I don't know what fiber, what cloth they are cut from when they behave like that. I know men that get mixed up in female situations, right? Females got beef and then the men come. I don't really understand what that's about. But it's happening and it's causing more division in our communities. So I got on this topic because I wanted to talk about the negative things that we accept from our oppressors and we act like it's okay. But when one of us do it, whether you're African American, African from the continent, African from the UK, African from the diaspora, it's like unacceptable. You know, it's like highly offensive. But you let this colonizer do it and it was acceptable, right? And so it made me think of the mistreatment that happens and the verbal altercations and the offensive language that's used and inappropriate comments that have been stated, and it's been acceptable. And I'm thinking, like, what is the mentality? What are we thinking? Right? I saw something on the Sister Shanice show earlier, and I really love this sister. She's very powerful, and she has amazing panels. And I followed everybody that was on that panel. That's how much I enjoyed the conversation. Some of the people in the chat, I don't know. I think, I have difficulty with chats sometimes because people come off as very aggressive, and I get it. I know some of us are really angry about the state of the world, but the way we treat each other, it's not a way to embrace or be collective. And that may just be my opinion. So I stay out of the chats. If the speaker says something that moves me, then I will type yes. I will quote them, right? So the brother, the doctor, I forget the brother's name. I'm gonna just say this, King. He made a statement that was like blew my mind today. And he said, they were asking, who are you? And he said he was a child of kidnapped Africans recovering from white privilege trauma. That's what he said. He was a child of kidnapped Africans recovering from white privilege trauma. And that's what all of this is about, right? Everything I talked about, the way we interact with each other, we are the children of kidnapped Africans recovering from trauma. And that process of recovery does not come easy, right? It comes with deprogramming. It comes with spiritual insightfulness, if you will, really kind of looking into yourself and then being able to affect others. We are all works in progress. And the best thing you could do is try to come from a place where you're given high vibrations, So when people stoop low, that don't mean you got to stoop low with them. It really don't. Sometimes it just means walk away, right? Sometimes that's all it means. There were some other little things that I came across. I was looking at how sometimes we can be overly critical when someone makes a statement or a video or an opinion that we don't agree with. If someone, I have to tell you, when I think about it, I've seen a lot of YouTube videos when I was doing my research, and I either liked it or I didn't. And I mean, literally, I like it. I hit the thumbs up. But if I don't like it, I don't hit the thumbs down. And I thought about that, and I don't really know why I don't hit the thumbs down. I just don't. Don't they have a right to their opinion? And doesn't their opinion make you think about yours, right or wrong? I've never hit a thumbs down unless somebody did something that was completely disrespectful, and it usually was the other people that I'm hitting that thumbs down for. Because maybe I'm offended by what I saw, but I have never done that as far as our folks are concerned. I don't feel like I need to send that energy that this person doesn't have a right to express themselves. Even when people have been mean I don't really know where they're coming from with that energy. I don't know what's causing them to be in the place that they're in. I don't know their experience. So I don't spend my time giving people thumbs down. Just food for thought, right? Everybody have a right to do what they want to do. If I don't agree with something you're saying, then I'm not going to you. And I see you did it a few times and you think a certain way that I don't agree with. I'm just not going to follow your channel. It's that simple. Like, we have the option not to subscribe, right? You have the option not to be notified. The energy that you would spend trailing, following people around and giving them thumbs down. Really? I don't know. People do that. So I guess that's what it's there for. But I wonder if the folks on the other platforms, right? The colonizers, Europeans, Latinos, Asians, do they spend time doing that? Because when I see their platform, they are supporting each other. They are helping each other make money. They are having group meetings about how they can improve their situations and bring everybody along. But I don't see us operating like that. So, I had a few other things on here, but I'm not even going to really get into it. It really just was about, how little patience we exercise with each other. And we just have to be more patient and more tolerant of each other and understand that we are all traumatized, right? We are strong, we are resilient, but we are dealing with trauma. We are all works in progress. So I'm hoping that we will get it together. I can't wait to the day that we are all, at a place where we can come to each other in peace. And whether it's here or on a continent, I look forward to that day. So I'm going to end with that. Remember the things that were used to keep us divided, and let's find a way to unite. Blessings.